Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Gavel Strikes. I'm Brian Wiedman.
And I'm Xavier Chavez.
And this is our signature sale podcast. Right. We absolutely love doing this show because tomorrow starts the live auction, and we got we have some amazing items here. We have some amazing items in the podcast, right? I mean in the auction that are going to be up for auction, and we've already set records. I mean, I'll get to that when we're going along.
But there's a lot of art, and I would have brought pretty much half of the auction if I could have, but we don't have enough time for that. But
we'd spend all week.
Yes, but again, it starts tomorrow. That auction is 7340, as Tommy's put on the screen. And I have one piece from the weekly to kind of show off that there are nice pieces in the weekly, and this is from the current weekly that's going to end today. And this is a Dark Horse cover of Concrete by Paul Chadwick. And you rarely see concrete pieces up, let alone a Dark Horse early cover. And this, last time I checked, was under $1,000. It was around $900. Now it's about $1,300. But it's still a great cover to have, a great example of Paul Chadwick's Concrete, and rarely comes up. So, and like I said, this is in this week's weekly auction. It's ending tonight at 6. And it's one of the earlier lots, so I think it's lot 45. So if you really want this is like one of those nice showpieces, and it's going to be a great piece with like talking heads on your wall. So
talking heads. You could play talking heads while you watch talking heads, or look at talking heads. I like that. Good music reference there.
And now again, we're going into the signature auction. So the first piece up here. Like I said, we have amazing pieces, Frank Frazetta's, Miller's, and a bunch of other things.
Tommy, can you bring up we might as well just get the elephant out of the room.
Yeah, let's start with the Frazetta.
Do the Frazetta. It's at, what?
$5 million.
What? Say that again.
$5 million.
$5 million.
So,
$5 million. That's already broken the record of the Egyptian Queen.
Of the Egyptian Queen. So this is the single. Right now, if it just sells for this, which we don't think it will, it might get a couple bids more.
That's what I'm hoping.
Which is even crazier. But again, this is a very famous Frazetta cover. It was used as an album cover for Motley Crue.
Molly Hatchet.
Molly Hatchet. And again, it's at $5 million. It's the single most expensive thing that we have sold in the comics and comic art department. So.
And I'm super excited because I'm actually on. Listen, we would have brought this to show to you, but we would have had armed guards pointing guns at us, every time we were looking at it. So, no, not really, but no, we can't bring something like that. It's just so.
It's so large. It's so fragile. Once it's over $1 million in items like that, unless it's a slab comic.
Right, we have to be super careful.
Yes,
it goes into a vault, doesn't come out.
It goes into a very big vault and does not come out. So
I just can't get over the concept. And I'm calling the auction, so I'm going to be up on the podium doing this. This is going to be the single highest number I've ever called. I'm a bit excited. I mean, the next bid is $525,000.
$5 million.
No, $5,250,000.
Yeah.
So, sorry, and so it's $250,000 increments at that point. That's nutsoid. Wow.
It's and again, it's a Frazetta, so it's a masterpiece that's well worth it in a lot of people's opinions. So,
for sure.
Again, I was a fan of the Egyptian Queen. That's my favorite, but this is like a Viking barbarian coming right at you. It's that you couldn't ask for more for a Frazetta example.
Well, not only that, but used on
multiple
book covers.
Things.
It was used on a book cover. It was used on a CD cover or a music cover, album cover.
Posters,
I say CD, but that shows my age. But
posters and stuff like that.
Vinyl. So. I mean, it was just used so much. It is a massive item. And the frame itself is so intricate; it's incredible.
I think he custom designed it and
surprise
asked
me.
for it. So
Wouldn't surprise me at all. It is an absolutely amazing frame too. And it's not small. Like you brought a Frazetta, right?
Yes.
And so it's not small like that.
It's kind of the size of the easel.
Yeah.
It's sizable. So, and again, like I said, this auction is full of great stuff. And if anybody has a question or anybody wants to leave a comment about what we're showing, feel free to do so. So next up, we have an Iron Man cover, and this is a king size special. I brought this along because the last time that Colin #1, which is the very famous one-shot, sold, it's actually still holds the record for a Colin cover. And this I brought along, not so much Colin, it's Mary Severin that did it, but Bill Everett. As you can see, the Everett here inked it, and of course, Submariner, and an Everett Submariner piece is what every Everett fan would want. So this is a great cover, great detail. I love the inking on the back for the riverfront buildings. Submariner jumping off out of the water and onto the dock where Iron Man is fighting. So just a great cover, a great example of something that you would love on your wall, and it's a #1 from the annual series or the special series of the early Iron Man. So
Submariner's a good guy, but he's also one of those like anti-heroes.
Yes.
You ever notice he's beating up on good guys a lot?
No,
good
that's-
superheroes.
that's what
he
he
does.
does.
All he does.
That's what he does. So.
Beats them up and then changes his ways to like, oh, I'll align with you.
Well,
you
this
know?
is like, oh, this is a bigger problem. I'm gonna
Right,
help you
I'll
guys
just
out.
help you guys out.
And I'm gonna go back to the ocean. So again, a beautiful piece by the master and the creator of Submariner, Everett, and Marie Severin, which of course was very prolific in the Marvel Studios and just a great artist in her own right. So next we have a Watchmen #1 page, and this page has the matching color guide, which is away from here. I don't have it with me, but again, great page with one of the more popular characters that everybody wants, Rorschach, and them discussing the killer of course, the comedian. So, and a great piece of showing what's going to happen, how Ozymandias is part of the involvement, and Rorschach is there questioning and trying to figure out who's next or who's the killer. So, just a great page from an iconic story. Can't ask for more unless you have the whole team, or of course a page like Rorschach's death, something important. But to just have a page with Rorschach in it is an achievement on its own. Most of those pieces usually go for a premium, so to have this one up for auction and it be from the first issue is just an incredible example that somebody can have and add to their collection. So
I've always thought that is like the definition of the graphic novel. You know what I mean?
Well,
and I've always liked Rorschach for some reason. I don't know what it is about him. He's just a cool character.
He's a cool character. It's like the whole mask thing, and
mask
it's also
moves
also he's the one that, like, at the end, that's why it's such a powerful thing when Dr. Manhattan tells him that he can't let the world know the truth, and he's like, I can't live in a lie, pretty much. And it's just like, and he knows what has to happen, and it's basically for him to die. So just a great, like, that was one of my, when that happened, it was just a crazy thing. So yeah.
Okay.
Next, again, it's
cool.
It's from a one shot. It's kind of a #1, but this is the first appearance of Bane, and I brought this page along because it's such an imposing image of him coming through the door, and my favorite line is, "Your business is with me, and I only want one thing from you." So
I think of how big Bane is in the Batman universe now.
Yes.
You know, he snapped his back. He did all this stuff.
And being in the movies.
Yeah.
The
for a one shot, he's a big deal.
Oh
now.
yeah. And this is one of the pages, and not only this page is in the auction, we have several other pages, and which is insane is we have the original first drawings, the layout drawings that Nolan did for Bane, which shows him with kind of, they were trying to see if they would put him full of acne because of the steroids and a reaction to it, and there's a bunch of detailing on that piece, and it's an amazing example, as Tommy's pulled up, that piece of history, and it's the first drawing that what we would know as the character from then on. So, and it's pretty spot on how they drew him. So, next I have a page from one of the more popular stories recently and Netflix series, of course.
Crazy amount.
And some of these pages are coming up. We have, I think, at least 3 pages in the current auction. The other page is a great page with John Constantine walking through the house of his or his last girlfriend, where she's Rachel, where she's created her own world with Sandman's dust. But here we have Sandman reaching the gates of hell to see Lucifer about what's going on, and he meets Etrigan the demon, and Etrigan tells him how things have changed in hell since he's been gone. And Etrigan here is with Sandman, and this great monstrous face of the demon just telling Sandman how things have changed, and as they go on their way to the gates of hell in the.
And you've brought a piece like this before. Just so you know, the Lucifer TV show is the same Lucifer here. That's the same. That is the same Lucifer. And Etrigan is the demon from the demon.
Yes.
You know, it's the same. It's the same. Linkage in the DC universe.
And this is from issue 4, which is Lucifer's first appearance in the DC universe. So
right.
At least in this Vertigo universe, because
in the Vertigo universe,
they had it in the other universes. So. But again, great example, if not this one, the one with John Constantine it's almost a half splash of Morpheus' face with Constantine right next to him. So, like I said, this auction is full of amazing pieces and
this auction
show-stopping
is full of
pieces.
Art. Yeah, it's full of art, like crazy art.
Next, how about you give me the one that came in late since it was a lot viewing? So I brought in an example that we don't have often, and it is a Mobius painted piece.
I got it.
And it's a beautiful illustration with lovely pastels and difference of colors, the pops of the reds and the blues, contrasting with the sky blue and the clouds of white. Just a great piece, vintage from '86. Again, Mobius is famous for all the heavy metal stuff that he did, Lieutenant Blueberry, but usually it's on black and white inks, but this painted piece is just an amazing piece to see in person, and there's going to be a very lucky fan that's going to be able to own this beautiful example by Mobius. So this was just one of those things.
I'm kind of surprised not in an international. Sometimes these end up in international. Sometimes
a lot of them,
Sometimes they end up in in our sale, a signature sale. But this is a great piece. Like you said, it's color.
And you don't see a Mobius colors that often. It's just like, and the only other thing that I would like to have more than a colored piece like this is a page from Silver Surfer. So, and those rarely come up. So,
you ever see? You ever watch the movie Crimson Tide? Anybody ever see that?
No, I didn't.
They get into these two guys get into an argument in the mess hall who the better Silver Surfer is, Kirby or Mobius.
That's a famous.
When Denzel Washington's grilling the guy who threw the punch, he's like, well, we got into an argument over, he said that Mobius is the better Silver Surfer, and I say Kirby's the better Silver Surfer. And Denzel goes, well, we all know that Kirby Silver Surfer is the best Silver Surfer.
It would have been better. It was just like, Denzel would have been like, what you guys missing John Buscema?
That would have been even better. That would have been even better.
So, next, of course, we have some newer pieces, and this is from Jim Lee's more famous DC storyline of Hush, Batman's Hush. And this particular piece I brought, you don't get a lot of interior pages with as nice as an image that could be a cover image if you just had this section of paneling right there. But not only do you have Batman and Superman, you have Catwoman over here with Crypto, and just these stare downs of Batman and Superman, just beautiful imagery of profiles. So you have Batman on the gargoyle, perfectly ready to jump out, lash out to crime, and Superman there in his Superman pose with the cape flying in the wind, and from again Hush, the Hush series, which is one of the top 50 graphic novels that DC has of all time. So it's a beautiful page. It's a beautiful example. Great line work by the master Jim Lee and Scott Williams. I love the inking over here where it's the shadowing that's rougher than the line work on Batman. It's just a great example of the artistry of these two masters at their craft, and a beautiful page from the series. So just a nice thing to have. Again, an interior page, because we have a Hush cover in currently on the auction, and it's several tens of thousands of dollars more than this page. So.
Yeah, that's the one with Killer Croc.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I like Killer Croc a lot. I really do. I really like Killer Croc. I think he's cool. But I think I'd rather have this because of the image.
Yeah, it's
now that's a personal preference. I understand it's an internal page. I get all that.
Yeah.
I understand the cover's worth way more. But I love that imagery.
And I love Catwoman.
Yeah.
They were playing with Crypto. I thought I thought Streaky might have been there too, but Streaky's not.
No.
It's for Supergirl, not for Superman.
Correct.
So. Next, again, another modern piece that I particularly enjoy. Greg Capullo's Batman series from the New 52 was, I think, great. And he not only did a lot of the, most of the covers, if not all the covers, he also did the interiors. And some interiors he did pencils and were inked by an inker. Some interiors were done pencils, and then he gave them to Danny Miki to ink on top of his pencils. And that was the later pieces, but this is particularly a cover, and I love this cover because Joker is, I'm not a big villain fan, but Joker is definitely one of my favorite villains, and he is so psychotic and different than any other villain. And again, when you do read him, it's not insanity without intelligence, which that's kind of why I love him.
You never know what you're going to get next.
And he's so intelligent and clever in what he does, and ruthless as well. So.
And that's why I don't think you could put an origin to him. That's why I've never liked the movies when they put an origin to him, because in the comics, you really don't know where he came from.
So.
Even Batman 168 has an origin of him, but not really.
And the Killing Joke.
Yeah, not having an origin doesn't allow you to define him, and when you can't define somebody that crazy, you never know what to expect.
Yes.
That's why I like it the most.
But again, the ruthlessly and the craziness. This story had a scene where he had kidnapped everything, kidnapped everybody, starting with Alfred, and had a nice dinner while waiting for Batman while he showed up. And again, this Joker cover is great, stark image of heavy inks of the Joker, maniacal face, and it has Robin's outfit on, Batman's glove, another part of Batman's glove, Robin's masks, and it just has little details from the Batman family. So because this was a Death in the Family, I think it was, or Death in the Family is the first one. This was it's also called a Death in the Something. But again, great cover by Greg Capullo, and it's all done by him. So, beautiful piece. Next is one of my particular favorite pieces.
This is just ridiculous.
In the auction is.
I would have brought this had he not been bringing it.
This is the cover to Fantastic Four 700. And 701.
But we can't even get this whole thing in the picture. That's how big this
is.
There we go.
The regular issue is, the new numbering is, I think, number 7 and 8. The covers is 7 and 8. And this cover has the current holding record for most characters on a published comic book piece. It has 711 characters on the piece. It has every character that has ever appeared in the Fantastic Four, also as characters as like the X-Men as Skrulls, and the X-Men as normal X-Men or first appearance X-Men's, and again, everybody. You have
like 6 iterations of Herbie, I think, are in here, or something like that.
Everybody. So.
And then, although we couldn't find Spider-Man, he's got to be in there somewhere. You've got the Watchers.
There's Miles over here.
You've got the where's the little Oh, these little guys here, these little alien guys. That was the one FF book I had when I was a little kid. These little aliens, and I'm one of the only people that knew who they were because that was one of the only books I had when I was a kid. So I knew what they did.
And we have the new Future Foundation. It's great over here. Iceman making a bridge where Ghost Rider is riding on it. You have huge Galactus. You have imposing Doom right there. You have all the cosmic characters over here in this corner.
We looked at this for 30 minutes when this came in, spread out 30 full minutes, and we still hadn't even seen one 1/100th of what. It's so detailed. It's ridiculous. I mean, you'll put this on your wall if you win this and never stop looking at it.
This is definitely the Where's Waldo of the Marvel Universe.
It's insane.
And like I said, I wasn't able to find Daredevil until somebody pointed it out, and like I said, I stared at him for 15 minutes, and he's over here by Miles. So, again, just an incredible piece on 4 pieces of 11 by 17 board. Just a show-stopping talk about piece that you'll never get tired of staring at your wall. At least I would never. And if I had the 40K to buy this, I would definitely be throwing it down as fast as I could. So,
it's nuts. I'm telling you, you would never go wrong with this. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
And again, it's my favorite. I was a huge Waldo fan, so it's just like, to me, it's Where's Waldo of Marvel. So, next is another great image by Clayton Crane of the Venom #1
really,
cover.
Clayton Crane, that looks a lot like Delato. That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
It's interesting. So, but you can see how different artists kind of have influences on each other, and they probably their influence is another master that I'm not familiar with. So, but again, beautiful image of Venom jumping right at you. #1 cover, and by Crane, which is a master at his work. So is the contrast of the dark Venom just jumping out at you from the white background, and it's snow white. It's an impressive piece on your wall. You're always going to be happy, especially if you're a Venom fan, of him just jumping right out at you out from the wall. So,
you know what I like about this the most? I honestly, I love the fact that he doesn't have a distended tongue.
The tongue out.
I don't like when they distend the tongue and all that stuff, because Eddie Brock is human.
Yeah.
He doesn't physically morph into this monster, and they did it really well in the movie because they showed it that was Venom and not Eddie Brock. But in the comics, McFarlane drew him so evil, just looking humanoid, that I liked it so much. It was so frightening to me as a kid. Whereas when they started descending the tongue and all that, it looked more alien, and I didn't like that.
Well, again, they were going for the alien symbiote.
I get that,
and stuff
but
like that,
it's really symbiotic with a human,
Yeah.
and so you needed to keep it such. And Eddie Brock always lifted weights, so he was this very imposing figure in this suit, and they made him so evil looking with the Venom that I love that, and I really like this image because of that.
No, again, it's a great image. It's one of those images that even though it's a newer piece, it's just like
It's very, very stark. It's very in your face.
What else? What other Venom example are you gonna see that is as nice? So, it's again just a great piece to have on your wall. And after this one, we're starting with the crazy we can't believe that exists, and we have it at auction.
It shouldn't exist, but it does.
So first piece here is historically, like, this is all I can say is the Indiana Jones. This belongs in a museum. This is Captain America title splash #5. And it's just an incredible piece to behold, to hold in your hand, to know that it exists. It's the earliest splash, if I'm not mistaken, known to exist. Everything you can possibly imagine historically wise and artistically for the artist that drew it, which who is it? Sanat, of course. It's just what other example are you ever going to find to beat this piece? That's what I think and somebody is going to be very, very happy and very lucky to own this in their collection.
You would put this on your wall and never take it down.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody were to buy this and eventually donate it in their name to some museum because it's that important. So this might never come up for sale again. That's one of those things that whoever is going to be the lucky guy to go crazy on this might be the guy that is one of the last curators besides an institution or something like that. So
I had a conversation. So I was at Heroes Con this weekend, and this is kind of really important, to say. And I used to be a Overstreet price guide sort of guy. It was Overstreet price guide or less. It was never pay more. But that's not how the world works anymore, and that's not how the collectible market works. The collectible market is if you have the money and it's that special piece, get it or you won't ever get it again.
Yes.
And I've learned the hard way, right? I never, when you met me, I was never even like that. It was hard for me to do that. With art, it's a little easier because there's no real guide. With a comic book, it's a lot harder. I'm telling you right now, if I had millions of dollars, it wouldn't matter how much that went up, that would be mine.
Again, that's one of those pieces that
it can't stop. It's got to keep going.
And it's like we always say, or the majority of these artworks at that time were thrown out
easily. When you can even see where they reused the logo
and stuff like that, and it's just they weren't taken care of. If you see the boards a little bit splitting over here on the bottom, but it's amazing that it exists. It's amazing. I know that I won't own it, but I'm fortunate enough to be able to touch it. Like that's one of the craziest things I think and just being able to touch it, that I had history in my hands. So, and it just doesn't get any better than that. So, and in talking about history, I had not mentioned this sooner, but a lot of the Terry and the Pirates strips that we've had in the weeklies, and a large collection of that came from the Bob Murphy collection. And a friend of his actually reached out to us to kind of bring light to him a little bit more. We did have a showcase auction with his stuff, and he had so many strip art that we still are selling stuff in the weeklies, and that's where a lot of those Terrys and the Pirates are. But Bob was a very dedicated collector, and one of the highlights that why he was important in the collecting hobby is he actually had more Milton Caniff strips than the college does in the institution. He has early on he had over 500, and it was an insanely impressive collection. So.
And Milton Caniff is not easy. Originals are not easy at all.
Especially since most of them were donated by Milton to his alma mater. So. That's also, again, part of history's type of estates and collections that we get all the time. We're having a couple of other collections that are going to be coming in similar to stuff like that from archives and stuff like that. So you never know what we're going to get. And it's also very special about those people and collectors, and at the end of the day, curators that took their time and did that, dedicated themselves to doing that. For us to be able to have an archive or a record of their collection in that way. So it's very impressive, and it's very admirable to those people. So
what's amazing about Caniff is he was famous for he printed out these, each character and then watercolored them himself and then sent them to his fans. And so getting, a lot of people say they have original art. They really don't. They have a print
that's colored.
That's colored, which is not that holds a little bit of value. But the ones that he actually spent time to draw are the ones that are really valuable. It's not common.
And especially if you have lace or the Phantom Lady. I mean, Dragon Lady. I'm sorry. Those are always premium. Right. So again, Captain America #5 is just insane.
I'll give you my address if you win this and you want to ship it to me. I'm just saying. Crazy.
Next up.
Oh, look at the back. Show the back.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So the back has this character design for.
I don't know if you can see it with the glare.
It looks like almost a Robin Hood type of character or a Buccaneer. So And you have
I didn't see that before.
kind of
That's
a
pretty
sidekick,
cool.
So. Yeah, no, it's a very interesting piece. So.
Yeah. Two-way glass. Just saying.
And continuing on with masters and incredible pieces is
Yeah, we couldn't bring
we couldn't bring the
the big Frazetta, so we'll bring you another one instead.
so we brought this little watercolor prelim of it almost looks like the sorceress but I brought this one along because we usually see a lot of these prelims and stuff like that, but this is very, very finished and detailed in watercolor, almost exactly how the painting actually ended up, especially this water here, because that's one of the things I remember. And look how he did the rippling effect as the monster's coming out and the fog around him coming up to the lady that's either sacrificing herself or is a sacrifice.
Cover? Is this an Erie cover or prelim for Erie?
I'm not sure of.
It looks awfully familiar.
And it doesn't say it on the
at
back.
the Earth's core.
At the Earth's core. So, but again, beautiful girl, Frazetta girl here, perfectly almost finished. The monster coming at her, and then these other monsters over here that he might have not detailed as much in the final piece, or they might have been more hidden in the darkness that I haven't noticed before. But when I see the finished piece, I'm going to look at again, and it almost looks like he was going to have somebody here jumping out at the monsters trying to save her or something. So it's just, for a little tiny piece, it's an amazing, amazing artwork that anybody that can't afford a $5 million finished oil can definitely have a beautiful watercolor preliminary by Frazetta. So. And next is...
We both brought this.
We both brought this because I'm a huge Spy vs. Spy fan.
Huge Spy vs. Spy fan. It's the only thing I loved about Mad more than anything. Well, I would flip to all the Spy vs. Spies.
I love the Spies and the back folding by Jaffe. So.
Oh, you like the you like the fold cover. I never knew about that. But I had books of this.
Yeah.
I mean, they made over 500. There were over 500, and 2 of them were pro eyes.
So this is an incredible piece to have, because in the first time that they published Spy vs. Spy in the magazine, they had 2 parts. They had the first part and they had this second part, which you can see by the number 2 up here.
This is only the second Spy vs. Spy.
It's second Spy vs. Spy, but it was the first in the first issue. So it's also technically the first time you ever saw Spy vs. Spy in that issue. So just a crazy piece, again, history, just another piece that belongs in a museum, because these characters became so famous by themselves that they made toys, they made little books, as you were saying, and it's just a great gag. And what's really funny about it, if you know Prohibas' story, he was a Cuban refugee, and he had to flee the island of Cuba because Fidel thought he was a spy.
And that's what it was. So that's what's really cool about the description. They thought it was a spy, and so he used that to his benefit.
So he used his own
to make money. Notoriety.
Well, his own notoriety or his own misfortune of being thought as a spy to create his fortune as a cartoonist making Spy vs. Spy.
Right.
So it's a perfect end to kind of a perfect story. So.
Well, I don't even know what is this at. What's the bid at? Tommy?
It's one of the most expensive ones we.
10,500.
And it's still gonna probably go. So.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's such a good piece.
And that's such a great signature. Like I said, that's as early as it gets. It's 60. Again, Fidel came in 59. So. I know a little bit about this because I'm Cuban. So. Father told me and my brothers the history of that all throughout us growing up. So, and finally, we have another very special piece, historic in itself, by it being the first appearance of David Boring by Daniel Klaus. And you rarely ever see a Daniel Klaus cover, especially not an 8-ball cover, especially of this size, especially with this detail. and especially not a first appearance of a character. This is a crazy piece to be in the auction. This is a crazy example of Klaus's work, and just a beautiful piece for any fan to have on their wall. I like this independent and underground stuff, and I've always loved to have a Daniel Klaus Lloyd Llewellyn piece, which is very, very old, one of his first things, but I just like the character and the way that the character acted. But this is what is a little bit what he's more famous for besides Ghost World, and like I said, an 8-ball cover from the collection of a very famous person, Adam McKay, that it's there credited, and it's just an incredible piece if you want a show-stopping example of Daniel Klaus's artwork, which rarely comes up, and he doesn't usually let these pieces go anymore. So somebody's going to have somebody's going to be very lucky to add this to their collection. So.
Actually, you'd be lucky to get any of these in your collection. You'd be happy, very, very happy. I wouldn't say lucky. Yeah, I'm happy is more like it. You'd be ecstatic.
Well, it's just also lucky because you got to fight the world for this thing.
You do have to fight the world.
So
it's not luck if you're the best bidder.
Well, this is called deep pockets. So, but
it's amazing.
This is like. Just a great piece. And
well, the one that I wanted to bring didn't make it. It's still in lot viewing, but we have a Marvel Spotlight. We've had 2 Marvel Spotlight pages, right? Yes. And they both been Marvel Spotlight 5, which is amazing because that's the first appearance of Ghost Rider. But the 2 pages we have hadn't had Ghost Rider on it.
They
went for a crazy amount, but they haven't had Ghost Rider on it. We have a Marvel Spotlight 6 page in this sale that has Ghost Rider on it, and it's a transformation page. So it's the earliest actual Ghost Rider showing that we've had so far.
To his first appearance.
To his first appearance.
Which is crazy.
It's amazing. So I can't wait to see what that does either. That'll be a big deal.
Again, a lot of special,
historically important pieces of art.
First appearances. So.
And really books too. I mean, we have incredible books. I don't have first appearance, artwork like Xavier, but I do have first appearance books. And the first thing I brought was this Showcase 4, and take that off. I've said that books from 1950 to 1955 are rare, right? 1956 really isn't that much better, but that was the start of the Silver Age, and Showcase in DC, Showcase 4 was really kind of the start of it with the first Silver Age Flash, and this is kind of the start of the superhero run. This is in an 8.0, and let me explain to you how hard it is to get an 8.0 of Showcase 4.
It's impossible.
It is impossible. Now there are higher graded copies, yes, but we're not talking about very much. Just getting above a 6 is I don't think I've ever gotten a 6 in or above. It's always been a low grade copy. And believe me when I tell you, this compared to a Marvel book, if this were an AF-15, if an AF-15 goes for and an 8.0 goes for about $250,000 to $500,000, somewhere in there, this isn't nearly as high as a Marvel book. But more important almost because it's literally the start of the Silver Age. So, when I tell you, hey, look, this book is rare compared to an AF-15, I'm not joking. It's not even close.
No, yeah.
So,
and again,
and the colors fade out easier, and I mean, there's so many things going for this, and the paper is cheaper because it's from the 50s, and I mean, there are just so many things about this book, and now it's an 8.0. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a sit up and take notice deal.
And with the Flash movie, this should do very well.
Right? Great timing. Talking about high grade, I brought an Amazing Spider-Man 1 in 9.4 because I just can't believe I'm holding an Amazing Spider-Man 1 in 9.4. Yes, there are 9.6s out there. I don't think there's a 9.8, but the 9.4 is nothing to sneeze at either. What's the census on this? It can't be, it's got to be ridiculously, so there are 11 9.4s. Well, there are 2 9.8s of Amazing Spider-Man #1. I'd like to see one of those. So there are only 7 higher graded copies.
That's insane.
that is insane. I can't imagine what that would do. But a 9.4, nothing to sneeze at. Only 7 higher graded copies. And there were thousands on the census. That's what makes it even more incredible.
This is the next book is an impossible book to find in high grade.
Impossible.
Every time I've seen that grade comic,
This is one of my consigners. I couldn't believe he said, "Oh, I'll send it in."
That has always been
off-white pages. This book is tough because this is the 59, and the paper just. I've never seen this book in anything above a
4.
5.
I've always seen them in a 4 or lower.
Yeah, they just get.
And I always love
up.
how it's Mr. Zero.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so this is the first Mr. Freeze. He's really Mr. Zero in this. And then I think it's in Detective 369 or something like that. He turns into Mr. Freeze.
I wonder why they changed it.
I don't know.
That's an interesting.
But it is the same. It is the same character.
Yes.
So, but an 8.0 of this is pretty much what I call insane.
Oh, yes.
Because I don't know what the census is. What's the census on an 8.0? It can't be. There cannot possibly be that many higher. There's okay. So, and this is on the. There's 11 8.5s. So there's 11, 16, 17, 18, 19 higher graded copies, and it's an 8.0. I've seen higher graded copies when there's 500 to 600. In Hulk 181, there'd be almost 1,000 higher graded copies. That is very, very rare. It's in rarefied air. I'm telling you.
That's impossible.
Back cover is really nice and white. That's the other thing about this book. It gets dirty easy. So look at how nice the back cover is.
Front, all this.
Look how clean that cover is. It is sweet. So I don't bring Silver Age much, but those are some sweet books. Jump into Golden Age. This is unbelievable. Our buddy Rick brought this.
That's
in,
crazy.
And there are. He brought in a couple books. These came out of. These came in raw. These came in raw.
This came out of a shoebox.
This came out of a shoebox raw. And it's a Batman 59, the first Deadshot. And it's a 9.6. It's the highest graded copy. The other one that came in with it was the Batman 50. And I think that is, I don't remember if that's higher or one lower. I think it's a 9.8 or a 9.4. I don't remember, but it came in as one of the highest graded. This is the highest graded book. No other book exists in 9.6 or 9.8. And so that'll pull an absolute premium because it's the highest graded book. It doesn't exist any higher or better than this.
It's already pretty crazy. So
what is it at? I didn't see. Oh yeah. That's gonna go for a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna go crazy.
So first Deadshot, and it's such spectacular. The bright oranges,
with the red,
those fade so easily. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's just like the reds on this one. That's crazy.
Oh, this is a Captain America 10. And I brought a couple caps. This is from the San Francisco pedigree. And think about that. So the last book wasn't a pedigree, and it's a 9.6. This is a pedigree, and it's a 9.6. So pedigree copies, while they do hold a premium, think that something just comes out of a closet and it's a 9.6. It blows my mind. But this is a San Francisco pedigree of Captain America 10, and Bucky's always in trouble. And if Bucky's not in trouble, there's a girl in trouble
or something like that. Or
and,
Bucky and a girl are in trouble.
The Hotel of Horror. This is the Register of Death, and I mean, look at how beautiful this book is. All the reds, all the yellows haven't faded.
Every color,
one
the
bit.
Blues, greens.
The white here is still
stark
perfect.
White.
It's unbelievable how well this book was kept. It shouldn't exist. It really shouldn't.
Well, a lot of these books.
That has off-white to white pages. This is another one. I actually got a lower grade copy of this in this weekend at Heroes Con. And when I say lower grade, it's a 6, and it looks like an 8. So when I say lower grade, I'm not poo-pooing the book I got in by any means, because it's a beautiful book. I mean, it's gorgeous. But this is a 9.2, and it's the Chicago copy. And he's punching a Red Skull. And Red Skull didn't make too many cover appearances. You know, so you've got that. Bucky's not in trouble this time, but like I said, the girl is, and so there's torture devices all over. You know, it's absolutely, it's an Al Iverson cover.
There's hot lava somewhere.
There's always hot lava somewhere. Not shown on this. Although that's not lava. That looks more like acid. But again,
I wonder
off
how they
white to
kept
white pages.
hot lava, just like for cases, like.
Well, you know, a
good villain.
Great villain always has hot lava
on hand.
Okay, on hand or acid. There's got to be acid. It's got to be one of the two. Space Adventures 12, done great classic Ditko cover, and this is it's a 9.6. I mean, I don't know what's the census on this. There's probably a 9.8 out there, maybe, but again, no 9.8. This is the lone highest graded copy, and this is a classic cover. I mean, this is literally the classic cover you would want if you collected sci-fi, if you collected Ditko, if you collected any of that stuff. Good Girls. All of it is right here. You want this cover. You've got the monster coming through. No sign of life here. It's the beautiful girl. It's just unbelievable, and it's a 9.6 in the highest graded. It is stunning, and it will pull a stunning price. That is going to break. That's going to probably break all Charlton records. This weekend.
And it's all Ditko.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
That's probably his most well-known. The last two pieces I brought, I'll leave the largest one for last, but I'm going to bring you this. So I had a collection that, clients said that I had this and it's perfect. It's perfect, it's perfect, it's perfect.
And we always hear it's perfect.
We always hear it's perfect, right? And when I say, I saw this book and it was about as close to perfect as you can get, and this is really close to perfect. It's a Vampirella #1 in 9.6, and there were 3 of them, and this was one of the nicest ones. And I can't really, except for this little transverse crease here, and this little, that's a production flaw. They shouldn't even really counted that, because that goes through all the pages. But this little bit right here in the corner, this book is gorgeous, and I mean gorgeous in a way you cannot understand. And when I told him, I said, I don't think it's going to be a 9.8. There's only one on the census at 9.8, but I think it's got a real shot at a 9.6, and that's what it came back at. Which is there's only one 9.8, so don't hold your breath for that one. If you want a high grade Vampirella, holding your breath for the one lone 9.8, it won't work.
It might not come out.
I would certainly get this one while you have a chance. It's spectacular. I mean, and again, Frazetta theme, I guess, today. It's got this classic Frazetta cover.
Frazetta girl.
What would that go for?
Oh,
I mean, that would just be ridiculous.
That would break all the records.
For sure.
Right.
That's insane. I mean, that is spectacular.
I wonder where
I don't
even
know.
is.
I don't know.
Because a lot of the Frazettas are known to where they are.
Right.
And that one I've never heard of where it might have ended up. So
no. And the last thing I brought is this ridiculously high grade of Captain America 1. And so
Yeah,
I think
that's
we've had a
pretty high.
9.4, we've had a 9.
Great.
We have a 9.4, 9.6, but this is only a 9.2. Oh, gee darn! I mean, ridiculous. Look at how clean this book is. Look at how nice this book is.
I don't understand.
And it's
why
not
it's
even
a
a
9.2.
pedigree. Well, you got that ding in the corner, and you've got a couple of
little
transverse
ding.
creases and
Okay,
dings
then
there.
the corners
But
aren't
it
sharp.
is spectacular.
But yeah.
Oh my!
The colors.
And believe me, when I'm saying it the way I was saying it, it's pure sarcasm. I would kill to have this on in my collection. I mean, look at how
just
beautiful
a
this
Captain
is.
America 1. I'd take any.
I'd take a 2
Yeah.
or a 1.8 or even a 1, but to have a 9.2 that I get to hold.
Oh, that's
and look
great.
at how beautiful the back cover is. It's nice and white. I mean, this is a beautiful book. I just the caps in this auction are ridiculous. The 3 that I've shown, there are a few others. It's stunning. It's stunning. So don't miss tomorrow. It's going to be unbelievable.
Or Friday.
Tomorrow, the Friday with the arts, but tomorrow's platinum.
You're well. We got a comment, so you're very welcome, David. So
So
we love bringing in the stuff.
Yeah, we love showing this off. So
That's
that kind
signature
of
day.
brings the elephant in the room. Right now, that we're wrapping up season one, I guess.
Yeah.
This will be our last show for a while. Unfortunately, you will not see us in 2 weeks. Actually, I don't think I would make 2 weeks anyway. I'm going to be in Sydney and New Zealand.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I'm going to be gone. I'm traveling across the world. I'm not going for vacation though. I'm actually going for a consignment trip. There are ridiculous amounts of books to look at. I'm picking up about a $500,000 collection in New Zealand, and then we're picking up a who knows collection in Sydney. You know, have you heard this? Have I told you this?
Oh, yeah.
500,000 books. No, I'm not bringing them all back. I'd need 5 airplanes for that. But it's ridiculous. The collection is insane, and they're American books, which makes it even more crazy. So,
Again, like we always say, we can't take all the books. So, but we'll take
the good stuff.
We'll take what we're going to make the most money for you on. So.
Right. Yeah.
So,
if you do want to get a hold of us, if you have a quality consignment, we're always here for you.
Yeah.
You can get a hold of me at brianw@ha.com. That's BRIANW@ha.com. And you can get X at.
you can reach me at xavierc@ha.com. That's XAVIERC@ha.com. Or you can follow
You can get
Brian
me on Instagram, Heritage Comics Grader, all one word.
and you can find me on Instagram at
You're on
Comic Art Xavier. So.
When did you get on Instagram?
I've been on Instagram. I just don't. I'll show off a piece or two, but I just don't do it every day. But
You should do it every day.
You can definitely follow me on Comic Art Xavier. So.
Well, that's great.
Fun.
I didn't even know you were on there.
Yeah.
I'll have to follow. I haven't even followed you. Did you follow me?
No.
How do we not, we're not even following each other. We're jerks. We're jerks to each other. We sit next to each other, and that's what happened.
Oh.
Really? You put it in front of your face?
Well, that one because it was the sunglasses.
That's a big no. Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
the
that makes more
sunglasses.
sense.
There was a sunglass episode, so it's just like I need sunglasses, and I didn't have sunglasses, so it's just like. And then I had the spy one, where it's just like every good spy hides their identity. So it's just like I try to make it clever, and it's just like
That's
so,
kind of funny, actually.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
not gonna lie.
so yeah, you can follow me there. So and reach out, and I love always talking about comic art. So
or even comics.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're both here for. So, but good luck, guys. We do appreciate you.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting
joining up. If
for
you
the
want to
past
get a
year.
hold of us, it's
So,
been a long time.
It's been a year.
If you need anything, please get a hold of us. But that's it. Don't miss the sale. I'm going to be on the podium. He's going to be on the phones, and it's going to be a crazy day, crazy 2 days.
So yeah.
So we'll see you later. Thanks for joining the Gavel Strikes, and
It's been a pleasure.
we're going to miss you. But who knows? You might see us again sometime. Take care, guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you very much.